Hello, I'm Mark, and in this video we're going to look at the basics of percentages, and we're going to look at a couple of ideas that can help your learners at home grasp the basics of this concept. So percentages, the basics. So really the clue is in the name. When we talk about percent, the word is a Latin word and it means percentum. So we're going to break that down, and that can help understand what we mean when we're talking about percent and percentages. So percent, obviously the word per means for every or for each, and then cent is that Latin word that means 100. So we're effectively saying, when we say things like 50%, we're saying 50 per 100. Or if it's 75%, we're saying 75 per 100. And sometimes just using that language at the start instead of saying percentage or percent can really help those learners really actually realize that percentages are just another form of fraction. They are kind of fractions that are always out of 100, and that's essentially what they are. So 25 out of 100 we would say is 25%, 25 per 100. And 36 out of 100 we would say 36%, 36 per 100. So that's where the word comes from. That's the basics of what a percentage actually is. Another kind of clue that can really help learners is just kind of thinking about, well, what does the symbol look like of percentage? And actually, it looks like a fraction. It's got the 0 with the dash and the 0. Some people like to write their fractions a little bit slanted, like this example I've done here. And that can just be a little reminder that you're just dealing with fractions, but they're out of 100. And they're always out of 100 if we're dealing with percentages. It makes things nice and easy without making things too complex. Now, the visual representations are really, really important when trying to grasp this concept. Getting children using those 100 squares. You can draw out grids, so you can print them off online, and then getting them into shading, understanding what 1% would be. It'd be 1 square out of 100. 50 would be 50 per 100, 50 squares. And then they can start to recognize those equivalences with fractions, which is really, really important. But I would say this is probably the most important thing, is understanding a whole of something. And this is a concept that some students really struggle to grasp. So a whole of something can actually be anything you define to be a whole. So I've got some examples up here, like a 12-inch pepperoni pizza. We've got like a cake, and we've got a chocolate cake, and then we've got 4 cupcakes. So we could define a slice as a whole of the cake if we wanted to, and I would say I'd give you 50% of my slice, meaning I'm going to give you half of it. Or if we look at the 4 cupcakes, if I was to say I will share 50% of my cupcakes with you, that could either mean I'm cutting every cupcake in half to give to a friend, or I'm just separating the 4 cupcakes into 2. So halves and wholes, they can be pretty much whatever what we are defining them as, and that's the most important concept of remembering, and that helps understand the whole of something is always going to be 100%. Thanks for watching. There'll be another one soon.